President of PWD. Nauna na po siya, si Commissioner Charisse Abalos Vargas, the Commissioner of PCW. Our newly appointed ASEC Georgina Young from the Department of Education. Attorney Sonny Matula, akin pong dati po nakakasama sa Kongreso para po sa mga karapatan ng mga workers, who is the Chair of Magkaisa and the FFW President. And Mr. Gustavo Gonzalez, our UN Resident Coordinator for the Philippines. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Sana po, gising pa po tayo. Alam ko, marami sa ating pagod din po. Pero gagawin ko pong pinakamabilis na kaya ko po para po sa ating lahat. Ikinalulugod ko pong maging kinatawan ng ating Pangulong Ferdinand Bongbong R. Marcos Jr. para sa makasaysayang okasyon ngayon, ang Women with Disabilities Summit 2024, we urge disability inclusion. Bagamat hindi po siya nakadalaw ngayong araw, nagpapaabot po ang ating mahal na Pangulo ng mensahe. Isang karangalan pong basahin at ihatid sa inyo ito. Ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant afternoon to you all. Globally, over 1 billion people live with disabilities. But here is one that hits closer to home. More than 2 million Filipinos live with disabilities, almost half of which are women. These are our mothers, our daughters, our sisters, women who face not just the challenges of disability, but also the shadows of inequality and exclusion that persist in our society. If life already feels like an uphill climb for so many of us, what more for our fellows who must bear an extra burden, a weight they did not ask for, one made heavier by limitations, biases, and lack of support. That is the reality for women with disabilities, especially in geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas. So, as we hold the Women with Disabilities Summit 2024, let us not only commit to empowering those on the fringes of society, but also to uplifting our communities in our entire nation. Today, we stand together, united in the belief that true progress is only possible through inclusive community engagement and equitable participation. Hindi po lingid sa kaalaman ng pamahalaan ang mga hamon ng inyong kinakaharap sa pang-araw-araw na laban ng buhay. Kaya naman narito tayo, hindi lamang upang protektahan ang inyong mga karapatan, kung hindi upang isulong ang pagkakaroon ng malawakang pagbabago sa pagpunagwa ng inyong kalagayan at pagsuporta sa inyong angking kakayahan. Ngunit, mga kababayan, hindi lang dapat ito manatiling usapin sa talakayan. Bahagi ng ating pagsusumikap ay ang pagkilala sa mga hadlang, pagpuno sa mga puwang, at pagsulong sa inyong tagumpay. As part of this commitment, the Department of Labor and Employment has issued the Labor Advisory No. 15 Series of 2023, which requires all employers to ensure the protection of the rights of persons with disabilities. Through this policy, we can provide PWDs with equal opportunities for employment, prohibit any forms of discrimination against them, and facilitate their access to express lanes in all establishments, among others. Republic Act No. 10524 also mandates that at least 1% of all positions in all government agencies, offices, or corporations shall be reserved for PWDs. For private companies, with more than 100 employees, they're encouraged to do the same. We also provide incentives for employers of PWDs. For instance, they can enjoy an additional deduction from their gross income equivalent to 25% of the total amount paid as salaries and wages of persons with disabilities. On top of that, they are also entitled to a deduction from their net taxable income equivalent to 50% of the direct costs of the improvements or modifications of physical facilities that provide reasonable accommodation for PWDs. While we have made strides towards a more inclusive nation, we must acknowledge that our work is very far from finished. Now, it is even more crucial to highlight the role of our local officials for their position to promote policies that ensure equitable access of PWDs to public services, employment, healthcare, and education. To my fellow leaders present here today, let us continue encouraging women with disabilities to engage in decision-making, as well as pursue educational and vocational trainings for them to flourish. As we reflect on the needs and strengths of every member of our society, let us not waver in our resolve to create safe and comfortable spaces for everyone, socially, economically, politically, culturally, and environmentally. And to all the strong and empowered women with disabilities who are with us today, which includes myself, you are the heart of this movement. Your stories, strength, and resilience will drive our shared dreams forward. You're not merely the beneficiaries of change, you are the architects of that change. Together, let us build a bagong Pilipinas where equality and inclusion are not just lofty ideals, but are woven into the very fabric of our society. Let us forge a future where every Filipino can help lead us toward laying the cornerstone of a fairer and more just nation. Be the voice for the voiceless and the strength for the vulnerable. Be the bridge that connects those with dreams to opportunities, the heart that listens to their stories, and the spirit that ignites the movement for inclusion and equality. Maraming salamat at mabuhay kayong lahat. Iyan po ang mensahe ng ating mahal na Pangulong Marcos. Bilang ikalawang kalihim ng DSWD, nais kong tiyakin sa inyo na ang aming kagawaran ay nananatiling nakatuon sa pagsulong mga programa at proyekto na makakatulong sa pagpapaunlad ng inyong buhay. Lagi pong bukas ang aming tanggapan at handa kaming umagapay sa inyong mga pangangailangan sa lahat ng oras. Muli, maraming salamat po at mabuhay po tayo lahat.
Maraming salamat, Atty. Villar.